can help your traveling life. There's one thing that's right wherever I go. That's where I am.
We're here, we're hungover. Are we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here. We're here. We're not hung. Mike's hungover. Emma's doing great.
I'm doing great. I feel hydrated.
I should be hungover, but I left your bachelor party with enough time to sober up, try to take Emma out, have that go wrong, give up, buy a cookie, and be in bed by what? When were we in bed by? 11?
11, yeah.
11:30. It was a perfect night for a almost 38-year-old. But we were out celebrating your bachelor party, starting at 5 at a steakhouse,
Which was the best move.
I think it was.
I can't
a great
imagine
move.
a better idea than that.
It was great. It was 14. Everyone was a comic there, pretty much. Minus, except
my
for
brother-in-law.
Yeah, your brother-in-law wasn't.
No, I think he was the only non.
I think he left after the dinner because he was sat across from me, and so it was just like two guys just kind of looking at each other. Hey, and then slowly he revealed that he's like, "Yeah, I'm Becca's brother." I'm like, "You do the podcast?" And I was like, he's like, "Yeah."
Fanning out a little
and,
bit.
Yeah, and I'm like, "I love the podcast." He's like, "Oh, all right." So then we talked a little bit. And then, so he was cool once I got to know him. But that was great. It was a small steakhouse, West Side Steakhouse, long table. You sat in the middle like a king.
Yeah.
One end of the table was loud and party time, and then the other end was me and your brother-in-law, just kind of keeping it quiet.
Well, I was hoping there'd be more like a more round table. I don't know. I was told it was going to be like we had the back room or something.
I see.
So I thought it was going to be like we can all just hang out, whatever was a thing, but it ended up being a long table, which is a little bit difficult for everyone to be a part of.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it was still fun. I think it was still fun. Yeah?
Dude, it was a blast.
I had a great time.
That guy, Pavone, Alex Pavone.
Yeah.
He might be one of the funniest people. He told a loud story down there that was great. I forget what the story was. And then he walked over, retold, because you told him to. You're like,
Oh, yeah, you got to get over there and tell them.
And you got to tell the side.
Yeah.
And then he comes by, tells the story to us. My favorite part, there's two dudes on a two-top right over here. It's a small restaurant. We were a table of 14 loud. So I've been on, you and I have been on dates when we've been on the other side. And we're like, please execute all of them.
Oh, yeah. We were the kill us table.
Yeah. My social anxiety was on a 12, and I was like, "Oh!" That's why I was chugging wine. I felt good once that kicked in. But anyway, your buddy, who's the mafia guy? Yeah,
Supposed mafia guy.
Yeah,
Let's at least allege it. He's the one that got us the steakhouse.
yeah, really
The
nice
Reds,
guy.
yeah.
Say his name again.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, someone said, well, I'll tell you later. I don't want to curse, but one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life, you can bleep this out, Mark, if you need to.
Yeah.
Because it's part of the story. He goes, I think it was Yamanika, maybe, or so it was something. And she was like, introduce, I don't know. She was like, who am I after on the show? And then someone goes, and she goes, who the Coco? It was just perfect. It was like, yeah, it's great because most people don't know how to say his name the first time.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was sitting next to me, so he's on the inside. After a couple of drinks, he's like, "Hey, can I go pee?"
Yeah.
And so I got to get up, and I bump. It's a tight area. So I tried to make my butt as small as possible, but I scraped the seat of the guy right over here with the two top. And then I let him out, and I'm like, I look at him, I'm like, hey, sorry. And they both give me the death stare. And I'm like, and I just smile. And then I sit back down, and then dude ends up coming back, sits back down. I tell him what happened. He's like, those guys gave you a dirty look. And that's not an over-exaggeration on an accent. He's like,
dirty look.
You can bleep this out too, Mark. We're like, oh, those jerk-offs? You don't worry about those jerk-offs. And I was like, why? I was like, well, they gave you a dirty look. And I was like, yeah. He's like, what'd you do? I was like, I just kind of went, eh. He's like, where you from? And I was like, I grew up in San Diego. He's like, you soft. I was like, fair enough. It was offensive.
He probably said it without making eye contact, too.
Yeah. No, he never looked at me.
No.
He just looked ahead. He goes, you're soft. And I was like, oh, man, it was beautiful. And then I got to hear, when we went to the bar after, just like, I love hearing like East Coast. We don't have like we don't have like mobby type stuff. We have organized crime in San Diego, but I'm not involved. I don't know.
It's just not as organized.
It's not as cool.
Yeah.
It's not. It's more. It's like every once in a while they find like a. Remember they found that illegal gambling hall behind the Chinese restaurant in City Heights, and we're not in with that community. And it was not far from our house when we lived in Kensington. Like that was like it was there, but we're not in with the Cantonese community in our neighborhoods. We don't know about the local organized crime. So it was fun to hear the stories.
Well, so we got that, Rez, because also, surprise, surprise, in the garbage business.
Which a lot of mobs,
really?
alleged.
Sure.
Yeah.
And and they his company picks up their trash. So he was like, hey, we'll help you out, help us out, do the whole thing. And then we got a big, long table.
Wow.
Yeah.
At a prime restaurant, no problem.
You'll be fascinated by this. I learned this last night. I didn't know this. So, when we lived here, residential trash is picked up by the city.
Right.
When you run a business, the municipal trash company doesn't pick up your trash.
Oh.
It's done by private companies. And you can choose to go with them or refuse to go with them. And maybe if they come by with a business card. Like if, let's say you and I started a business, got a little rental space, whatever, some guy with a business card can come by and go, hey, for your trash, give us a call. We'll take your trash away. And let's say we don't have a lot of trash. And we're like, nah, there's just a little dumpster over there. We'll just put it in there. They go, oh, okay. And then they'll come by again, give you another business card. I'm like, yeah, we already said no, but all right, he's kind of pushy. And the third time, they just leave the business card in the door, and you're like, wow, what the hell's wrong with you? We don't want the trash. And the fourth time, you come in, and your entire office is filled with trash.
This is real?
This is real.
This is a story we heard last night.
This is a story we heard last night. This is your entire office is filled with trash, and then you're like, what the hell's going on? And that guy shows up. Hey, do you want my guys to clear that out? And then you're like, yeah. And he's like, all right, have the money by Friday. They'll be here in a few days to clear that out. But they'll leave it there. They'll leave it there.
I feel unsafe talking about this.
I kind of do too.
Yeah,
I'm sweating a
what are
little
you
bit right
doing?
now. I was like, should we be talking about this?
Zoltan,
We're
what's enough?
flying out of here in an hour.
I'm not.
We're still in the country.
Maybe Mark, bleep out his name.
Yeah, man, maybe do that. Leaving the cocoa part though.
All right, change the editing. Leave in the F-bombs and the Jergovs. And take out his name for the safety of all of us, including you, Mark. I think they'll come after you. I think everyone.
Mark, whose social security number is 48? No, never mind.
This entire weekend has been mobstery. You didn't come to we're also not going to say the name of the club or the city we went to.
Nope.
We had a great time.
Spokane.
We're treated like kings, but that place was run by a mobstery kind of guy too. Purple suit. It was
The comedy club.
Comedy club paid me in cash in an envelope, which I think is whatever. And it was they couldn't have been nicer.
Couldn't have been nicer.
But also, I think people have disappeared.
Had a candelabra on his table, and it wasn't ironic.
No. Yes, a candelabra.
Yeah.
That's the name of it.
What's a candelabra?
Just a high-end...
It's like a 3-prong candle.
Yeah.
Oh,
labra.
like the Beauty and the Beast.
Yes. Remember...
That's what Bell took to find the library with the rose in it.
Oh, my
What was his name? Illuminati or something?
Yep, might as well have been. That was the name of the company that runs that club.
It was so crazy. And apparently, I'm going to leave a lot of names out. I think this episode is going to be called The Names Have Been Redacted.
Yeah.
There was another guy that came who may or may not have been the host of a very popular reality show where they go into businesses and
You can leave it there.
yeah, we'll leave it there.
It's a bit of a rehab type show. Like,
Yeah.
what can we change?
What can we change?
Yeah.
That's not how you do it. Maybe I'll yell.
Go into the business with a business card and say, "Hey, do you need something changed here?" No. Okay, we'll find out.
Anyway, the mobster guy who owns the club comes in to tell us that this person's there. I get excited. Mike gets excited.
Mm-hmm.
We watch this guy's show, and we're like, oh, my God, we didn't expect this guy to be at this club. And he's like, oh, yeah, this guy comes in all the time. And I remember he said this. He looked a little nervous, So I sat him at my personal table, the one with the candelabras. And I'm like, cool. And we were all pumped. We're like, maybe we get to meet this guy. I even texted you. And I'm like, this person's here. And then you're like, make sure to do this joke because he's referenced in the joke. And I did, and it went great, and blah, blah, blah. And then after the show, the nice host lady that hosted for us, she's like, oh, that guy left. It was weird. I walked by, and he's just making out with his wife or his wife. And his wife, and there was, and he was sweaty, and he was very nervous. Which who knows what substances? It was great, but
awesome.
He disappeared. But this is the kind of we don't have this in San Diego.
Nope.
You know, the only thing we have is every once in a while some city official runs away with some money, and then there's like a documentary. But there's no fun. There's no
I
rings.
mean, we have Mexican gangsters.
Yes, that's cool.
Yeah.
But like we don't know like. I don't know what it is, but we don't like know about it till after the fact. I felt like I was
You're part of it, yeah.
Yeah, because you hear those old stories from comedians back in like the 60s and 70s. You're like, yeah, this club was owned by the mob, and sometimes you do a joke, and then you'd look at the mob table, and they wouldn't laugh, and then you'd run away. And then
There's a sign to not do that joke again.
yeah.
What was that Sopranos story where they called, what's Tony Soprano? What was his real name? Why can't I not think
I don't know. Oh,
No,
James
James Gandolfini.
Yeah.
From a guy from a redacted number. It was clearly a guy in the mob, and they said, they go, hey, we love everything you're doing. Keep it up. But just so you know, a real boss don't wear shorts. Because he had shorts on in the scene. And he goes, but keep everything else, but don't put the shorts on. It's embarrassing. And he never wore shorts again. In the show, he's like, you got it. 10-4, buddy. Because let's not forget, Gandolfini was just a theater actor. He was just like a Broadway dude. So he's not a mobster. He's a singing and dancing kind of guy. He's like, yes, sir. You got it.
Wow.
Love everything you're doing. Don't show your legs on TV. That's basically how it went.
The fact that they were, how come the mob isn't in the talent relations business? Because the fact that they were able to get that guy's number, means they can get any number.
Which is they have every number.
Now imagine if your agent was in the mob, be like, look, Mike's going to get a role in this show. I don't know what it is, but he's going to be there. He's going to be there at 10 a.m. Take care of my boy. And then they're like, the casting director's like, yeah, I guess.
I mean, that's for sure happening. All right, like it definitely happens.
Well, with big, powerful agencies that lean on, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's nepotism, but for with sandwiches, salami nepotism.
Salami nepotism.
It's so stupid.
Speaking
of,
ridiculous.
Well. I'm way off a tangent here.
Oh.
Bronx Tale the musical. That reminded me of that because it was just a bunch of tough guys singing and dancing. It was very weird.
Oh wow!
It was like the whole thing was basically just like wife beater, stains. Hey! And then all of a sudden, now you just can't leave. It was just the most ridiculous. I mean, very well done. Actors were incredible, but it was just strange to have that.
That's how I felt when have you ever seen West Side Story?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, well, I went and saw it live, and musicals are infuriating because it's like they'll do a real scene, like a violent scene, and you're like, oh my God, this character's going to die, something's going to happen. And then instead of getting help, they start singing. And the guy's not dead yet. There's like that time where after that guy sings Maria, he gets, spoiler alert, he gets shot in the stomach, and he's in the streets, and then Maria's down there like, oh, you're dying now. I should have listened to your love. And then there's a payphone right behind her. And I'm like, get off your ass, Maria. And
I wish I had a nickel.
Call the meat wagon, Maria. He's down with 2 lead balls in his gut.
He was stabbed in the stomach. He could survive this.
It's so stupid.
It is.
It is dumb. Because
meanwhile, you're crying. Poor Maria.
Maria's so dumb. There's a phone right behind her. This is why we should have gone to a musical. We were thinking about it.
Yeah, we were thinking about it.
We wanted to go see the Bill Burr, Odenkirk, Kieran Culkin, Michael McKean, what's it, Glengarry
Glenn Ross.
By the way, I've never met anyone named Glengarry, one word.
No.
Have you? I thought it was Glengarry, Glenn Ross. I thought it was 4 people.
How many people is it?
I think it's 3. Because Glengarry's a compound name.
And then Glenn and then Ross?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Glengarry, Glenn Ross.
Ross.
And I'm like, I thought it was 4 I thought it was like a Friends episode.
I thought it was just a clever name. I assumed it was someone's name, but I was like, okay. Well.
But then Emma looked up tickets, and what were they? They were like insane.
They were like $400 to $700 each.
Retail, or is that secondary?
Oh, is that
this was on Ticketmaster, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is like straight tickets. And so we're like, I guess we're not seeing that. And then I saw they're doing Othello with Denzel Washington and Jake Gyllenhaal. And those tickets are like even more insane. I think I read in the New York Times it's like $900
Oh, wow.
for a ticket.
And then Clooney's on Broadway right now, too. They all just opened around the same time.
Wow.
Clooney's all and the tickets are just who can afford, like, there's things I love that I won't go to when they're priced like that. Like, I love Metallica, but if it was like, hey, $1,000 and James Hetfield gets to sweat on you, and I'm like, that's good. I'm good on that.
Yeah,
I'm actually really happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, like I've always wanted to be like front row at like I want to be rich enough one day when there's like a big Canelo fight or a big boxing fight. By the time I ever make it, it won't be Canelo. It'll be like some
Canelo's grandson.
Yeah, Canelo's grandson.
No offense. No.
No, I'm serious. But I would love to like sit front row and just be there, and be like one of those heads in the background, but I'll be an excited one because most of those rich people just have sunglasses on, just not reacting. I'd be like, I'd be like sweating with a beer. I'd be there in the undercards when like that side's empty.
Yeah.
I'd be there early, and Emma would be like, God, we're here so early. I'd be like, I gotta watch all these fights. This ticket was like $50,000,
Yeah, rich enough to not care that you spent the money.
Rich
enough where you're not sitting there the whole time being like, oh,
This
God,
better
what
be
did I do?
good.
What did I do?
Rich enough to where $50,000 is $50.
Yeah,
in relativity, because like $500. I don't know what's your cap for a concert ticket,
And who is it?
and who?
And why is it not Sabrina Carpenter?
You don't know that. I'm kidding. I don't know, maybe like $500 to $700, but I really have to like the artist.
It has to be like who would for me I would do 7, but it'd have to be someone who's dying soon. So it's like it's a farewell to life tour, not just a farewell. I might retire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really love any artist that much.
I don't either.
I think it's Paul McCartney for me.
Paul McCartney.
I've never seen him.
Yeah.
I would love to see a Beatle perform before.
Yeah.
I can't. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
And I think I was not in New York last time he was in New York for some just awful gig, and I was just like, we can't give up the gig. Like it was something so stupid. And I'll never remember the gig, but I'll always remember that I didn't get a McCartney ticket. Although it was like $500, and I was like, oh God. It was a pretty easy decision at the time, but I still wish I would have gone.
I
dropped 200 last night. I don't remember half of it.
It is funny when you miss something really important for work, and it's like the worst gig ever. The Undertaker has that story where he's like, the first time he made money in the early 90s, he had a weekend off, and there was a huge fight in Vegas. It was like Tyson and somebody, or Evander Holyfield and somebody, and he was going to go to the fight, and he had nice tickets. He had a whole weekend planned, and then 2 days before, or the week before, Vince McMahon goes, hey, I need you in Redding, California this Saturday, and he's like, ugh, and he couldn't say no, so he had to skip the fight, and instead he wrestled in Redding, California, which is a destination no one wants to be at.
That's a flight and a bus.
It's a flight and a bus. Anytime it's a flight and a bus.
Yeah.
But anyway, last night was a blast, and then afterwards I went back and we tried to have an evening, and which was a disaster. We wanted to go see live jazz.
We wanted to go to live jazz.
What was the first place we
first
went?
place we went to was the Carnegie Club.
Have you heard?
Carnegie Club?
Yeah.
Yeah. Never been, but I've heard about it.
But they didn't have any live jazz.
They did have,
that
it's a
night.
cigar club, though. You can smoke cigars inside, so we went in there.
So we just went in there long enough to get a stink.
Sure. Sure.
That is how long just enough to get a little spritz of the old 60-year-old divorce cologne that is
The old,
cigar.
this is going to take 2 washes. Yeah, it doesn't take long.
And then we tried to take up your idea because you gave us this suggestion 2 years ago, the Tokyo Jazz.
Tommy Jazz, yeah.
Which
we never got in.
Oh, was there a big line?
Yeah, it was a line, and it doesn't move, and they don't give you updates.
that place sucks. I'll never go back.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Did you get in?
No.
Oh.
No,
we just
waited,
wasted our night.
we
Like,
waited an hour, and it would
no.
like move up and up. And then it's so mean because the last pit stop before you turn the corner and go down the stairs, they do give you a space heater. So, because originally I left with just my shirt, button-down shirt,
Yeah.
because I thought we were going to the Carnegie Club, which is like right by our hotel. That turns out to be a bust. We Ubered the other thing. Now we're standing outside, and it's cold. And I'm San Diego, so I'm not built for it. And then we're just waiting and waiting and waiting. And then it's next to a crumble cookie. And
insomnia cookie.
Insomnia cookie,
Yeah.
thank you. She went and got us 2 cookies. We ate the cookies in the heat. We finally made it to the heat. And then once the cookies hit, we just looked at each other, and I'm like, do you want to get out of
Yeah,
here?
like after an hour. But I was
Yeah.
really mad because I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
they don't even like come out to give you an update. They don't come out to answer. They just leave you out there, and there's signs like, hey, line up here. But it's like, what's the plan? Like, are we gonna get in?
That
Like,
sucks.
There's
I'm
no
sorry. I'm
tickets.
sorry that my recommendation.
No,
I mean,
it
no,
looked,
it's not
you
your
there.
fault, but like,
it was probably cool inside because we
Yeah.
saw the photos. It looked
Yeah.
cool, but we were also watching every once in a while 2 people would trickle out.
yeah,
And I was looking at their faces, and their faces weren't, wow.
yeah. But it's
Can
like,
you believe that? You know?
but it's like, grow up. Like, just sell some tickets. You know, like just sell some damn tickets. Why are you making people line up? Are you trying to seem like, oh, like you're the it place? You're not the it place. You guys suck. Like, what? Oh my god, I'm so angry.
She
Oh,
left-
I've never seen the mean girl come out here. This is awesome.
can you read your review? She left a
yeah.
review for a place we didn't
Actually,
go to.
felt really nice after the review.
So I have no intention of sticking up for that place,
Right.
but it's about the size of this room.
Oh, really?
So it's not like
There's no room.
There's just not enough. There's just no seats, and people
Right.
want to go. That's why I think it's like that. I don't think they're trying to be cool,
Right.
But let's hear this review.
I mean, I wrote this in anger, so it
But
might
yeah,
not
but
be
say
that
it
great.
like as you were writing it. Try to bring yourself back to that place.
I think you wrote this
All right.
in the Uber on the way back.
I was getting nauseous too, and I'm like, I have to finish this. I wrote the disrespect.
And that's the whole thing.
Opening line.
They make you line up outside, and no one knows if they're going to make it inside. The line never moves, and people end up wasting their entire night. Just grow up and sell some tickets. Also, at the least, have a staff member come out and give an update or answer any questions. This place thinks they're it, but they are not.
like a good middle school fight. They think they're all that, but let me tell you, you're not.
I'm saying,
I don't even like you anyway.
I was in a rage
Oh,
when
yeah,
I wrote
yeah.
this. So.
Just to give you an idea, this is after we ate cookies.
Yeah.
So like that should take some mean out of you.
Yeah.
You know, but
a
I'm just
little
like-
sugar buzz.
Yeah. I mean, that's why like
That's
the
so
DoubleTree
funny.
gives you a cookie when you check in because they're like, hey, keep your attention off these horrible rooms. Here's a cookie.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a bummer. We tried.
I left a pretty good review of a of a Greek restaurant, a Greek bakery in my neighborhood.
Oh, you talk about this place.
No.
Oh.
Have I talked about how bad it is?
No.
Different place.
Okay.
Here's my review. But I left 5 stars because I'm not good at
Right.
taking somebody's food business down like that. So I put a 5-star review.
Right.
May I
Please.
indulge myself? Where do I start? Honestly, this place has a ton of bad reviews about how mean and salty the owner is, and they couldn't be more spot on. It turns me on, which is why the 5 stars for me. She's an absolute terror of a human, and man, I love it. Once I was told I can't order a certain pastry because the old lady said, and I quote, "You will make a mess, and I don't want to clean up after you." And I immediately slid off my seat in ecstasy. If you like below average, if not wildly basic pastries, and an owner who makes you confront your inner, what the heck is that? Oh God. Hold on. If you like below average, if not wildly basic pastries, and an owner who makes you confront your inner geronophilia, Yet absolutely hates the sight of you and customers that aren't directly related to you, then this is the place for you. That word genrophilia is sexual attraction towards old people. I had to look it up. That's why I was like, I don't know this word because I didn't even when I wrote
Bill
it.
Belichick's girlfriend. Has.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And I left the name of the place out, but it's Lefko's on Ditmars. That place stinks on a hot bed of ice.
Good for you.
Yeah, but I left 5 stars again because their terrible reviews, and I figured a 5-star review people would want to read
Right.
that. So
well, you're a
"Ah."
better person than me
Yeah.
because
No, but he left a bad review with 5 stars because he's like, I want people to read this.
I want people to see this.
And so it was more of like a way to, because they have so many bad reviews.
I was
that they're
hacking the
like,
system
This
a
will
bit.
get people's attention. Like, who would give this
Right.
place 5 stars? And they'd be like, oh.
Yeah.
he was taking
Nice.
he's taking the piss out of it, as the
Nice.
Brits would say.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I don't think, have I left?
no, you never leave bad reviews.
I have left a couple 1-star Uber rides, which is new for me. But that's but then you remember you looked into my thing and then you can go into your Uber app and obviously you can see your rating as a passenger, but you can go a step further and break down how many 5 stars, 4 stars, 3, 2, 1 stars you have. And I have 5 1-star reviews
That they reviewed you.
that they reviewed me, and I know one of them for sure. It was New Year's Eve, like 3 years ago. It was you, me, Dane, Kelsey, his wife, and then I ordered an Uber X to take us to another bar. And there's 4 of us, and there's 4 seats. One of us will sit in the middle.
And
the
it was like 10 minutes till New Year, so we're trying to get to the bar before.
Yeah, we're trying to get to the next bar to celebrate the countdown. And we get in the car, and the guy's like, this is too many people for an Uber X. And I'm like, it's 4 people. You have 4 seats. There's 4 seat belts.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you needed a bigger one. So he kicks us out. And I'm like, okay. Everyone tells this guy to go piss up a rope and, hey, why don't you suck on this and that, and I'll find you and your family. Like, they went extra. And I'm like, this is on my profile. So, like, after everyone told this guy to kick rocks, I was like, thanks anyway, buddy. Sorry. Happy New Year. Yeah. And then I closed the door, and I'm like, there's no way I'm not getting a 1-star for that. So I know that one for sure. But I
the
don't
other
know
ones,
I don't know what the other 4 are.
Good news cabs can't leave reviews because I think I'd have a low cab rating. Not because I'm mean, but I've probably passed out enough cabs for people like have to wake me up. Like, get this guy
As you
outta here.
do, yeah.
Well, we went to that noodle house, and then, or no, not the noodle house. We came back. We went and did shows Thursday night, met up here at the studio. You guys had a show. Then we went down to the Irish pub, and it had those spice bags.
The
Spice
sweat
bags.
bags.
Yeah, we called them sweat bags because they made us sweat
They're
like bags.
so good.
They're so good.
So good. I call them the blood pressure bags.
Explain what a spice bag is. For the
It's
good
an Indian
people.
spice bag. So it's just like a bunch of fried chicken, peppers, potatoes, onions, and they put it in a paper bag and with a bunch of different spices, shake it up, and then you just rip the bag open and eat it. That's kind of how it is.
And
they
then
don't do
you-
the bag, but that's like the idea.
And you get curry to dip it in.
Curried dipping sauce, yes.
It's delicious. Our table had 3 of those.
Well, we
Maybe.
didn't need 3, but we ordered 3.
Hey, 3 disappeared.
Yeah.
3 went
And
down.
that's why I'm starting GLP-1s. Because I can't stop. Once I have one little taste, I'm like, get 3 for the table.
You know what? In the 90s, the Pringles, once you pop, you just can't stop ad.
Yeah.
I think really stuck with a lot of us from that generation. Like, once you start eating, you're like, well, we're finishing it. I sat down at that steakhouse last night, and I was not hungry because we went to Pop-Up Bagels yesterday, and delicious bagel place, but they make you order 3 minimum. So we
Right.
got these 3 giant, delicious, fresh bagels. Like, this is like 3 hours before dinner, 2 hours before dinner.
yeah, yeah.
And we're over, and then Emma ate, like, you ate a fair share,
Yeah.
but I had to back clean up.
Yeah.
Because we're not throwing these delicious bagels away.
And
Some
I was
over there.
like, are we eating too many bagels? And you're like, oh, this is practically air.
I do have a theory that if the bagels are really hot and fresh and soft,
It's not real.
it's not real.
Yeah.
Like I was telling her after I ate most of those 3 bagels and we were walking, I'm like, I think the yeast was still rising, and it's like I could feel it in my gut start. I'm like, I think the bagels are done now. I think like they're fully formed now. But then once I got to the steakhouse and the appetizers started coming, because we ordered every appetizer,
that's a lot.
I was plowing. I started to battle your brother-in-law, and I'm like, I'll eat all this calamari. And then the steak came. I got a New York strip, and then I plowed that thing. It was I still eat.
Food was excellent.
Food is excellent.
Yeah, it was
Here's a good review, because
Yeah.
we're over here bashing on places. West Side Steakhouse.
It's like 10th and 43rd in Manhattan. Fantastic.
Cute little spot. Excellent service, excellent steaks. The mac and cheese blew me away.
Yeah.
That was really good. And
I'm
the wine
glad you
was-
guys had fun.
Well, the truffle risotto was not good. I will say that was very underseasoned.
I didn't try
It was
that.
the only miss, but it, like, out of everything on the menu, it just wasn't as good as everything else. But other than that, the place is fantastic.
You'll love this. As soon as we sat down, they're like, "What kind of wine you want?" And he was like, "Do you have a Montepulciano?"
Well, the guy that owns the place is Italian. He was like, "Hey, yeah, one of these," and I was like, "This guy's got to have a Montepulciano." I was like, "Give him a couple for the table." He's like, "No, it's just American stuff." It's like this guy's a character, but it's all American
Yeah.
stuff. I was like, "Okay, all right."
That's what she asked for every time we sit down. I think she's like, "I think we need a Montepulciano."
I
gotta
love
say it
saying
like
it. It's so good.
You got to say it with both hands, like this. You got to say it like this, Montepulciano. 'Cause you can't otherwise. Montepulciano doesn't work.
No,
Yeah.
you got to do. The best is though you'll say Montepulciano, but you don't have like a second high-end option that sounds as fancy as Montepulciano. So then when they say, "Yeah, we don't have that," you're like, "I don't know, just like a red."
The house blend.
Yeah, the house, yeah. It goes from like here.
Very specific to who cares.
Is there booze in it?
You got a Montepulciano? No, we don't. I guess I have a red. Whatever your reds are.
You didn't even say what episode we're on.
This is 405. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Welcome to This Week in Zoltan. I'm coming at you live from the studio with my beautiful wife Emma. Mike on the ones and twos. I love it. This is the latest I've ever done the intro. We're already like 40.
We're basically at the
We're almost
point,
done.
the wrap up point.
We're about to wrap. I'm like, hey, here's the intro. I like podcasts that just do a rolling. I think they call it a rolling start in the business. Sure. Yeah, because it always feels too official with the you know.
I don't like intros.
I don't like it. Yeah,
It's too much. People
I
skip
hate-
it.
Yeah.
I hate starting everything.
Yeah.
Everything I hate the start of. Movies, songs, just get to the riff, you know? I hate starting comedy sets. Like, just get me like 2 minutes in. Once I've already gotten the first laugh, and then we can go. I hate the beginnings
Or
of
like
everything.
comedy specials. You don't like the intros.
I hate intros on comedy specials. They do like a sketch or something. Or they do the thing where they come out and then there's a cameraman that does a 360 around them. Yeah, that's what we needed. We needed a close up of your hairy armpit as we do a 360 drone shot coming out of your taint and through the crowd. We get it. You're in a theater. Who's in a theater? You're in a theater.
I don't hate a sketch. I like a sketch if it's like makes sense. Like with the if it's a funny sketch. Sometimes sketches between. I like that. I like the idea of that. Because also, like, I'm so bored of comedy specials.
That's also true.
Like, I don't want to see. I see enough. Let me see something unique.
Who is the comic from Brooklyn Nine-Nine that had a great comedy special where in between jokes it would cut to crowd shots, but they were weird crowd shots? Like one time it was a dog wearing sunglasses. You know how they like, yeah, it was like different.
I haven't seen
One
that.
time they cut to the crowd shot and it was her. It was the comic.
That's so good.
And she was sitting there. She was not laughing. She's like this.
I like that.
But that's great.
It was original.
Yeah.
I can't think of her name, but she's on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Chelsea Peretti.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah,
who
there
it
you
was.
go.
Chelsea Peretti. Very funny. So I like it when people do something different and unique like that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Or like I remember one of Tom Segura's specials. He broke down like his sketch before the set started was like comedy. I just kind of sit and watch people have a bad day, and I just observe and report, kind of like a security guard.
Yeah.
And so there's like a couple arguing, and he's just sitting 2 tables away, like. And it was funny.
Great.
Some guy falls on a bike. He's like, yes. And I was like, oh, I relate to that. That's
Yeah.
funny. But for the most part, I think they're like kind of douchey, where you like walk through and then you do the weird handshake with your opener. And then there's like a guy with a headset, like 2 minutes. And you're like, just get out there. I don't need to see.
Yeah, the black and white of Aziz walking down
Yeah.
New York Street
Yeah.
into the back door of which is cool. Like I would
That's
love to
cool.
be able to do that, obviously, but it's
Right.
also like just do the show, man.
Yeah, we're already going to
show.
watch an hour of you. You don't need to.
I guess it's different if you're an established comic, like Aziz. That makes sense.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, you are here to see him. But like if someone has a special that no one knows or like it's their first special,
Get to
it's
it.
like, just get to the bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get to it. I like the new thing that it's not even that new anymore, but now they start with a bit and then they have a quick intro after like a joke and then the special starts. But I also like the idea of just no intro. And cut out the
Bring into the stage.
Seattle! Woo! Like I watched, man, we're really trashing people on this one. But I watched this one special from a very established comic, and it was the first 15 minutes was just congratulating himself in his career. And it's like a really well-known comic, just came out on Netflix, may or may not have been filmed at a casino in Fort Lauderdale that Emma and I once went to. You guys figure out the rest. But it's 15 minutes of like, 25 years ago I was there, and now I'm here. Which is great to say once. But for 15 minutes?
Also, you don't have to put it in the edit.
Yes!
Say that to the people that are there. Thank you for
Yeah.
coming. You spent the money. Thank you. And then hit record.
And then hit record, because like there's stuff that it
Put it
feels,
at the end. That's the we don't have DVDs anymore,
Thank you.
so there's no extras.
Thank you.
So put it at the end. Give me another a documentary about the whole thing.
Yeah.
I would love to see that documentary about 25 years.
You can edit that one out too, Mark. Boy, Mark's going to be busy on this one. Mark's going to have he's going to have an itchy trigger finger on.
I'm going to send him a text. Video's uploaded. Good luck. Have fun with this one, Mark. Guy's the best.
But yeah, because I actually love your taste in stand-up, because you actually dislike most stand-up.
Oh, that's great.
And yeah, she likes like the darker stuff. Like she loves Louis and Burr, and I have a friend, Billy Bonnell, who's very depressed, and every joke ends in a quasi-suicide attempt by
He's
him.
so good.
And I'd look over and she's like,
Cohorting.
Billy gets a laugh out of her where I'm like, wow, I've never gotten that laugh. Like he has this one joke. I'm gonna do Billy's joke. I'm sorry to spoil it for everybody, but he's like, he goes to therapy, and they're like, he was afraid to tell him that they're depressed, because they ask him like, do you have suicidal thoughts? It's a question at every therapy session, when you first start. And he's like, you have to lie. You have to just pretend you've like, what is that? And so like one time he was like honest. He's like, yeah, I think about it sometimes. He's like, but he learned that they don't get worried unless you have a plan.
Right.
And he's like, well, do you have a plan? He's like, no, I didn't. He's like, he felt like he was unprepared or something. He's like, I can come back with one.
Has a spreadsheet next time.
So his planned suicide is to do it. He's like to rent out the top floor of like an irresponsible hotel that still has a balcony. And he's like, he's going to throw a big party, and they're going to pregame up at the hotel, him and all of his friends. And he's going to be out on the balcony. And right when they're ready to like leave to hit the bars, he's going to be like, hey, meet you guys downstairs.
It's so good.
That's when you know a joke is good, when you can butcher it the way I did. Because
So
like
good.
Billy has this great way of speaking. He has a southern drawl. His cadence, his delivery is beautiful. And then he does that joke, and it's great. It's
So
great
good.
job.
I just love I love comedy where the person is the comic. Like
Yes.
on off stage, like there's no
no
like difference, and you wonder
Yes.
where like. Just as an example, Bill Burr was here recording a podcast, and I never met him before.
Yeah.
I go down to get him from the elevator, or I go downstairs. He comes in the elevator. I go, oh, hey, Bill. I say hi. I'm producing today. And he's like, oh. He goes, I went to this coffee shop, and there was a guy just chewing a thing. He just immediately launched into Burr. And I was like, oh, God, I love the fact that he's just like, oh, nice to meet you. This guy had stuff all over his face. I couldn't drink my coffee. It was like immediately that. And I was like, oh, he is the guy. He is that guy.
Yeah. I think it's not an act with him.
No.
Yeah. I
No.
once awkwardly sat in a green room with him because my buddy Jason Lawhead was opening for him, and I'm still a huge Burr fan, and I was sitting next to him. He just wants to watch a basketball game, and there's just a nervous 21-year-old off to the side. I'm sure his dream scenario in a small comedy club green room.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to say anything, and I said something, and it was the wrong sports fact, and he just corrected me without looking at me. And then I'm like, I'm going to go wait outside. That was my one olive branch. I'm like, I know a little bit about sports.
You were so
and Burr's-
nervous, and you were like, he goes, this is basketball, not football. Like, okay, so they don't get touchdowns?
Hey, we got the 2-minute warning coming up, right, Bill? No. All right. Well,
Okay.
I'll be outside. I'm going to watch Jason set. But yeah, I love comics that are who they are.
Yeah,
You know? Because there are a few where, like, I want to really see Alex Pavone's set now.
Oh, man.
Because
It's a riot.
he made me laugh so hard. He was just dancing around. You guys were just talking about hair transplants the entire time. You brought this up because we did the show. We went up to Stamford, and you came up with this, and we rode down. And then after we got out of the car, Emma was like, you guys were such gossip and gals the entire drive down. Because we're just talking about comics and comedians and all that stuff.
We didn't do it for you, by the way. We did it.
No.
That's how every road trip with comic. It's immediately door shut. We're like, who do you hate?
And then so now we're at a bar last night, and now there's more comics, so there's even more gossip. We're talking about people's hairlines, pulling up old headshots, zooming in on photos. And then there's a moment where someone had 2 headshots zoomed in, and he goes, "You see that? That wasn't there. That wasn't there 5 years ago, and now it is. Nah, he took some time off and went to Turkey.
Yeah.
That's what that guy did.
so
was
funny.
so funny.
That's so silly.
Yeah, just like, and it was great because your assistant, Dylan, who's a comic, he's 23.
Yeah.
And he was at dinner and he was like, yeah, it's so weird. It's my first bachelor party and everyone's so much older than me.
Yeah.
And then so he was there trying to relate to the hairline stuff while he's got a full head of hair,
Perfect
23,
head of hair. Yeah.
hard as a rock. And he's just over there trying to relate to our like old people issues.
Yeah, we're like, oh, look at this guy's hairline. Like, my gout's flaring up a bit. I should be eating this steak. And meanwhile, he's drinking a beer. Like, when do the women get here?
That's when we all look at him and go, there are no women.
Yeah. If he didn't have an early morning, though, he would have found him. We ended up finding him, so it was fun.
That was fun. I think we have to wrap up.
4 or 5 minutes, if
All
that's
right.
okay.
Yeah, definitely. You have a full boat. We have a flight to go catch.
Yeah.
So we got have a hotel room that's a mess. We didn't let anybody in.
It's disgusting in there.
It is. You ever because we don't let the people in?
I
One
know.
time she had money stolen in Vegas. But that was a different, we don't think that was the cleaner.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But we don't let people in.
Yeah.
But then you're there for 5 days and you're like, what are we? Are we like hoarders or something? Like, it's just to go.
To be
there's
fair, though, last
so
night
many of these.
while you were gone to the bachelor party, I was like, oh, I'm gonna like clean up some of my stuff and pack up a little bit. And I like came to pack up, and I'm like, oh, this is all Zoltan's stuff.
Was it really?
Yes, all my stuff's like in near my suitcase, and then it's just a tornado.
I'd like to try it. So I didn't work out on this trip, but normally, if you come into my room on a tour, I go work out and then I get very sweaty. I'm a very perspiry man, and then I lay out all my sweaty clothes around the hotel room so they can dry, so I don't have to pack them all wet. And so if you come in, there might just be like underwear hanging off a doorknob, socks sprayed over like the toilet tank. And you're like, yeah, I'm not here. I didn't think I was going to have company. So I definitely don't want a cleaner coming in and going, good Lord. It's like dental floss on the nightstand.
Emma comes in and it's Steve Martin in a mirror pulling underwear out of the sink.
I don't get it.
What movie is that? Planes, Trains, and
Neil,
Automobiles.
if you're gonna take a shower, take my socks out of the tub.
Planes, Trains.
I
See,
see.
if you watched it as much as I wanted to, you'd know all these.
It's funny because I've
references.
seen that movie and I still don't remember.
Well, I'm sorry that you don't like good comedy
movies.
Yeah. I mean, what can I say?
She does like the one where they switch bodies. I forget which one that one was.
To be fair, when your partner is obsessed with something and you've never been involved with it,
Oh yeah.
they're never gonna like it.
No.
But probably because of the fact that you like it so much, you won't shut up about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can meet. I've ruined things for people that they kind of liked, but then you bring your fandom and you show how much you love it to other people, and you're like, I think I kind of hate it now.
Yeah.
Like I've done that to people for sure. They're like, oh yeah, I kind of like this, and then I tell them everything I know about that, and they're like, I think I hate that. I think I hate that now.
I have Becca quote. She'll now quote That Thing You Do, the movie. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's
I
one of my
love that
favorite movies.
movie, yeah.
And she's seen it once. But I say the line so much in my life Like I'll say goodbye by saying, "Hold my calls." If anyone asks, I'm at Chasen's with Suzanne Plachette. Like it's such a throwaway line, but I love that movie so much. And now I'll go, "All right, I'll see you later." She goes, "I'll tell people you're at Chasen's." Like, hold your call. I'll hold your calls. Like she barely knows the movie, but I say it so much that it's now part of our the way we talk.
That's adorable.
Sure.
Yeah, and your wedding's coming up in May, so we're excited for that.
It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We'll have exclusive footage.
I'm going sober come this upcoming Monday until the wedding.
Wow, I've never heard anyone train for a wedding.
Yeah,
but you're gonna drink at the wedding,
of course.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm skipping my needles that week. I'm doing it all. Yeah, 2 months off. I'm taking 2 months to get into shape.
This is bizarre.
Skipping my needles.
Yeah,
this is the Olympics of drinking he's getting ready for.
I am, because I got the cruise this weekend, and then I'm like,
oh yeah, you're going on a cruise.
I don't know if I'm gonna make it, but we'll get there.
Yeah, the cruise is the blowout.
Yeah,
that's going to be the blowout.
It's be 3 days of last night.
Good God.
Yeah,
and I only got a taste of last night. I had one drink after 4 glasses of wine at that, which, by the way, I like that bar. Every place we went into was quiet and sad, and then we were too loud for it.
Yeah,
it was beautiful, which is how you want it to go. But I think that's this week's episode. Emma, do you have anything, closing thoughts, statements? Did you like the time length of this episode?
No, it was perfect.
Yeah, because we didn't lose. I felt
minutes.
like you didn't get bored, and you're like, this is good.
No, it's great. I actually think we could do another 10 minutes, but I get it.
No. I feel like if Emma was a road traveling headliner, she would do 45, not 60. She'd be like, I do a hard 45 because I don't want to get bored.
And it's not because I don't have the material.
How much would the overtures do? I don't know. Do 30? I'll finish that. I'll finish it out. I'll figure it out.
But thank you for listening, downloading, all this, sharing, subscribing, and all that stuff. Have fun editing, Mark. Ciao, everybody.
Trekking, heavier traveling light. There's one thing that's right wherever I go. That's where